Hey, welcome to Horror Score. We're your hosts, Jesse and
Vanessa.
in this week's episode is
The Devil's Dolls.
which we don't own. We had to buy this one on
We rented it.
Yeah, on YouTube, which is weird, and we sprung the extra dollar to watch it in HD.
Yeah, only the best.
Wanted to just make sure that I saw everything in crystal clarity. Before we get started scoring this episode, we have a special treat. Andy's Horror Shorts has made a video for this episode, so we're gonna go to that now.
Yeah, and it's horror shorts, like a short animation, not like shorts like the clothing. So
just in case you were confused,
you were like, "Oh yeah, get my Michael Myers swim trunk." All right, let's go to this thing.
All right.
Hey Jesse, I thought it would be fun to make my own worry dolls for today's review of the Devil's Dolls.
Oh, you glued googly eyes on it? That looks so stupid, Vanessa. I mean, come on. Hey! Vanessa! Help me!
Oh Jesse, don't worry. Be happy.
Guess googly eyes aren't so funny, are they?
No, I will never say another bad word about googly eyes. If you want to check out more of Andy's horror shorts, he has a YouTube channel, and every week he puts out a minute or less horror short. There's some cute puppets. There's like a neat Freddy Krueger among other ones, and like a devil. Sometimes they're live action. They're not always puppets, but definitely check him out. He might return for some future episodes.
And he's nice.
Yes, nice guy.
Nice
guy. Andy Rocco. Oh, you ready to dive into this movie?
Sure am.
All right, let's do it. So yeah, it's like a police procedural movie. There's some little dolls. They're kind of haunted. I'm not really sure if they're actually the devil's dolls or not. I didn't really get that feel from the movie. But basically, these little haunted dolls get scattered around, and everybody who owns them goes crazy. There's a lot of murders, and this detective Mark and his partner gotta wrap it all up and save his daughter. So the story pretty, like, I don't know, average.
I'm going to say this now before you waste any more time with this review. If animal death in horror movies bothers you, that they do kill the family dog. Never been done before in a horror movie. I know, you're shocked, but they do it. And I didn't want you to be as surprised as I had to be whenever the beloved family dog gets murdered.
It's true. It's a sad part of the movie. I was like, oh no, that dog, he's so cute. Like, they better not be making us warm up to this dog so something bad can happen to him.
Never been done before.
Regardless, I gave it a 10. I felt there was some good and some bad parts of the story, and pretty average. The movie had some strong parts, but it definitely wasn't the story for me. What do you think?
Yeah, it wasn't the story for me either. I mean, I gave story a 7, and they were just possessed corn husk looking dolls. Of course, there has to be this like African or South American, like voodoo woman, like medicine woman, kind of on the side of Satan sort of thing. That's another lovely trope that we run into in this movie. And so as far as story goes, it wasn't super inventive or anything like that. The plot was very followable.
Yeah.
Like I never was like, what's going on? Who's that? Where are we going?
Do you want to... It's kind of hard to get into the next category, villain, but what do you got?
I gave villain 9s, like a couple more than the story. So basically all the villains are basically whoever has the doll is possessed by some sort of satanic force. And so people who have the dolls end up doing all of the killing. So the villain is various people. But what I liked about the villain being, kind of everyone, was that there weren't a lot of safe people. They're either, You were basically either in two camps. If you were on screen, you were either going to eventually be possessed or you were going to eventually be like brutally murdered. And like they don't like, do the whole save the classic characters. So that's a trope that they didn't follow, which was nice. How about you?
So I gave Villain a 5. There's not really like a villain to cheer for or to be afraid of. It's just these little dolls. And when we picked this movie, I was hoping that these dolls were going to be like animated or alive, that they were going to be like under the bed, stabbing you with pins, doing stuff like that. Kind of like Puppet Master, demonic toys, that kind of thing. Tales from the Hood, exactly. But we don't get that. We just get these little dolls that they're kind of like the little stick people from Blair Witch, but they're way smaller and they've got shirts on.
Just one little doll prank. We couldn't get one doll tripping someone down a flight of stairs.
Yeah, and so really the villain is anyone who happens to be possessed by the dolls. So I gave it a 5. I was like, well, I mean,
also, why are all these adults like touching these dolls to their skin? Because that's how you get possessed.
Right.
You like have to hold it. A guy wears one as a I'm like, what are you doing? I mean, even for your niece or whoever it is, like, don't put that on.
I mean, I'll be honest. If I'm the type of person who would get possessed by these dolls, be like, oh, this is neat, and put it in my pocket and carry it around and forget that I had it for a while. But yeah, I thought villain was a low scoring category for this movie, as there is a villain in the beginning. There's this prolific serial killer, and he's kind of great.
I wanted him to live.
Yeah, but he doesn't.
Give more of that.
So, and then it's just kind of these dolls, which, like as I said before, I'm not really sure that they're even the devil's dolls. I don't know. There's kind of like really, really bad luck charms. And
they aren't. I mean, they explain that it's not really the devil's dolls, and at the end, like 20 minutes or something, you understand like why these dolls actually can harm people.
Well, what do we got next?
I'm gonna start us into horror.
All right.
I gave horror a 13. They don't really hold back on the gore. There was like you mentioned earlier, the drill. There was a great drill death. There was some interesting mechanics with a hairdryer, and I'm not quite sure the director knows how hair dryers work, but hey, I bought it. It was funny. Some hedge trimmers. Well, that's always nice. Like Exorcist 3.
Yeah. I actually, that scene that you're talking about reminded me of The Burning. There was a scene in The Burning too where he's got these clippers that like get raised up. Very, very similar. I was wondering if it was actually like an homage when they filmed it. Like, we'll just hang a hat on that. I'm not sure. I gave horror a 9, just because there are a bunch of kills, which is great. The movie's not scary. There's no jump scares. There's not a lot of suspense besides like a worried parent just being like, oh, we gotta find my daughter. Like, otherwise, there's just not a lot of, I didn't think there was a lot of horror. I mean, there's 9. I mean, I gave it a 9, which is about, it's almost a 10, which is almost half points. But I felt I couldn't give it more than a 9. There were things I liked about this movie, especially the next category. But I didn't think that the horror was really strong, as there's a lot of time in this police procedural part of the movie where if there was just a little bit less of like police work and a couple more kills.
Whenever you're in like a police procedural horror film, it really helps if you don't follow the cop so closely. Like follow more of like the evil and the horror and that sort of thing, and then be kind of in on the joke and know before the detective knows what's good. That would be probably more beneficial, but instead we see like a bunch of cork boards and like he's drinking at his death. Yeah, I don't care about this man's life.
Do you also want to lead us into effects?
Sure. I gave effects 15, definitely my highest category. So whenever you get possessed by this doll, you get wonderful makeup to make you look like you're horribly sick. Like,
makeup is great.
It was very convincing. Just sweaty blue and yellow people that looked like they've got like frosting. It was gross, but pretty believable. So I think it's really easy to make a setting like the dilapidated South horror. Like it's like one of the most upsetting landscapes. I don't know what it is about just like failed America that just you just feel like breeds this kind of horrible person. But yeah, the setting was if you've seen True Detective or True Blood, the way that they depict the South was very much in line with the cinematography that they used here. So I think it was absolutely by far the best category.
I also awarded 15 points. I was very happy with all of the gore and blood, and everything was great. And as far as I could tell, there was no CGI. Everything was practical effects, dummies getting like shredded up. Like there was a drill to the head that is above and beyond. That was like, I remember like laughing like, oh my god, that was great. So yeah, 15 points for me. Like you said, the settings were really good. The visuals, all excellent. If anyone ever asked, like, do you want to watch this movie again? If it wasn't for all of the practical effects in the gore, I probably would say no, but I would give this another watch, just knowing in anticipation, like, oh, the scene's coming up. I'm going to watch out for, how this part of this person's body explodes. So what do we got left? The S factor, where we can award up to 20 more points for whatever reason we want to. All right, so I gave this category 4 more points. They did embrace the really cool horror trope of if someone's wearing a lot of white, chances are they're going to go through something horrific and be covered in... Oh.
Speaking of very white and horrific, well, we've struck a negotiation and she's just going to stay there.
All right. Oh, no, she's not. Be good, Ursula. So yeah, aside from that, I didn't think that the movie really embraced its not rated rating. The gore was great, but they could have pushed the envelope in a lot of other areas, being that they weren't going before the ratings board. And the the classic, what looked like, and I might be wrong, homage to The Burning, that one particular like kill scene. What'd you give it?
I gave S a 3. And if you want points in S, don't kill the dog. It's just that simple. I'm not going to give you bonus points.
So before we total these up, I think we're going to cut to And Another Thing with Vanessa.
So let's go back to this dog killing thing, because I'm not over it. And the more I think about it, the angrier it makes me. Because, all right, let's just say that the first time horror movies did this, it was for shock value. But it's not shocking anymore. In fact, it is a trope that no horror fan likes. Unless you're an edgelord and your favorite horror movie is Cannibal Holocaust, you probably could go without it. And in fact, you probably hate it. So, are we done? Can we stop doing that now? It's old, it's dated, it's boring, and it's lazy. It doesn't make your movie any better. It just gives you less fans.
Well, for this movie, that puts me at a grand total of 43 horror score points.
And it got 47 for me, so that is a combined total of 45 points.
All right,
For the Devil's Dolls.
We were pretty close. And IMDb gives it a 4.3, which is like what my rating was, a 43. So it's very, very similar.
We're not even. Why do we even do this? IMDb's got it.
Yeah, it like landed right on their rating. Who would have thought? I guess we'll see you in 2 weeks, and until then, yeah, give us 15 minutes, and we might save you 2 hours.
Stay spooky.